So this entire episode has been just talking about death, getting Frieren to realize how short human lives are. In the last scene, they literally just buried one of their friends that they fought beside, and Heiter here, he's telling Frieren, he's saying goodbye, this is probably going to be the last time I see you, so it's his final goodbye to her. She asks him if he's scared of death, and he says no, because I fought alongside my friend, I know I'm going to heaven. And in the Netflix translation, it says, well then, I'll be off. And this is a correct translation. Don't get me wrong, this translation is correct. But there's so many different ways to say, I'll be off, right? In Japanese, he could have said so many things, but instead he chose to say osaki ni, which literally means I'm going before you, like I'm leaving before you. And they had just been talking about the fleetingness of human life and how Frieren is realizing that all these people are gonna die before she ever does. And he's basically telling her, I'll be dead before you too. Like, I'll be dead before you. I'll leave before you. And in a way, he's implying that he'll be waiting for her in heaven. And that is the context of what is actually being said. And it's kind of lost in the translation because how are you going to explain that? It'd be way too hard. But yeah, he's basically saying, I'm gonna leave, I'm leaving now, yes, oh, farewell. But he's also saying, osaki ni, I'll be there before you, I'll be dead before you, I'll be in heaven there waiting for you. You can even look at the kanji used for osaki ni. You see, it uses one of the kanji that means precedence, future. Okay, so it's like he's already going into the future before her. And that same kanji is also used in sensei, which sensei, the kanji for sensei in Japanese, literally means the one who came before, the one who prepared the way before. That's why senseis are teachers, because teachers have already learned what the students haven't learned. So they are preparing the way for the students to acquire the same knowledge that they acquired by traveling on the same path of learning as them, basically guiding them on the path to learning. And this is why I think that this specific use of osaki ni is very intentional in as far as the writing goes, because osaki ni, he's using this word that is kind of implying that he's kind of not only leaving before her, but quite possibly dying before her and preparing the path to heaven for her. And I hope that a key thing that you take away from this is that Japanese is a very context-based language. Japanese people, oftentimes, they say things without saying things. So they'll say one thing and it's implied in this giant blanket of context, and they'll say this one thing. And if you just think of that one thing, you might think it means this. But if you actually zoom out and you look at the whole picture and the whole context, and you infer, you read between the lines, then you'll find what is actually being said. And this is how Japanese people express emotions. They don't just straight up tell you. They don't just say, hey, I love you, hey, this, like, they don't. It's all implied because they think that you shouldn't have to say such things, right? You should just know, right? From my actions, from how I behave, the little things I say, you should understand how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. Now, of course, on an individual level, there's always individual instances where this will not be the case, right? Like if you zoom in on an individual level. But if you look at Japanese as a whole and Japan as a whole and Japanese culture as a whole, you'll find that oftentimes this context rule often plays a big part in many, many things, and you see it especially play out in Japanese pop culture like anime, and it can be very, very, very difficult to fully understand what is actually happening in the anime unless you can read between the lines. And I think definitely the translators often do such a great job at choosing the right words to allow the reader to infer certain things. But then there's cases like this where unless you know Japanese and unless you're thinking very critical about the literature you're consuming, about the media you're consuming, this will go right over your head. Like, it's one of those things that you see in literary analysis classes in English class, and it's this whole, you could write a whole paper on it. It's that big of a thing. This little thing in the first episode in Frieren, you could write a whole English paper on it. In fact, I'm making a whole video on it because it's just that interesting. And so if you are a learner of Japanese, or if you just like Japanese culture and you want to know more, this is what I do on my channel, so please subscribe. I love talking about this and I want to share it with the world, and I just think this is such an interesting anime moment. So thank you for watching.